Hi guys, it's Jake here. Today we're taking a look at a fixed blade knife by BBKULE. I'd never heard of the name before. I found the knife at Gear Best for a very low price. Take a look at this fixed blade. Make sure I'm within frame. It's got a wicked recurve. Nice big belly there. Swedge. Looks cool. Fills up a large size hand just right. With a glove on, maybe not quite so good if it's a bigger glove. But for the price I paid for this knife, I think it's probably going to do fairly well. Then again, even a cheap knife, if it doesn't perform, is garbage. So it has to perform. So I'm going to do some tests with this. And so I'm going to cut in between video of doing some tests and doing a tabletop review of this knife. So stick around. At Gear Best, you find BBKULE products. They've got a number of EDC type products on their on the website. The list of choices is pretty big. They got pouches. They've got other knives. They've got a variety of things. I'm going to focus on this knife today. They call this the Hardness straight knife. Something like that. I'll put it in text along the top of the screen up there so that you can see exactly what they're calling it. So what do we got? We've got a fixed blade, a full tang. The tang goes all the way to the back here. And you see the tang come back to almost a point. It's very close to a point. And then it comes all the way across the bottom and all the way back into the blade. So one piece of steel. 5CR15, I believe, or is it 5CR14 is the steel that they use. I'll put the hardness on the top of the screen as well. I think it's like 56 on the Rockwell hardness. Well, here's your blade. Let's start where the blade and the handle comes together. We've got a nice little piece of metal coming out to protect the hand so it won't slide forward. And it turns into a nice sharpener's choil. You get a big recurve, and then you get a big belly. And the hollow grind follows all the way along. At the top of the knife, you've got a nice swedge that comes back over half of the way. And then it just turns into a flat top of the blade. Just a tiny little thumb ramp right there. At the tip of the blade, notice how the swedge ends before it gets to the tip. And that just leaves a little bit more metal at the tip to give the tip a little more strength. So what do we got for other dimensions? The knife here from tip to the blade is right around 4.5 inches. Not exactly. So in metric, that's just over 11 centimeters. Yeah, it's a good amount of steel sticking out there, but it's not huge by any sense. This is a good basic size for a bushman's knife. Not quite the style that most bushcrafters would want, but it's not a terrible style of a blade either. The recurve works really well for doing a number of the tasks that we need to do. I was quite surprised at how well it did feather stick work. And the big belly here could be very useful for skinning small animals and even mid-sized animals. Like small deer, depending on what species of deer you have in where you live. I think would be okay with this knife. You've got a nice flat area on the blade here, which is great for those sharpening systems that you have to clamp onto, clamp the blade onto and go ahead and sharpen. Of course, with this recurve, it's going to be a little trickier to sharpen than your average knife. So you might need to have better than, you will need to have better than introductory level sharpening skills to maintain this blade. It's just par for the course the way it is. The spine of the blade is nice and thick. And I put away my calipers. I'll be right back. Instead of my calipers, I found my micrometer. So let's take a look. This knife blade is almost 4 millimeters thick. In metric, that is 0.15 inches, 0.149. So well over an eighth of an inch, but almost 4 millimeters thick. That gives it quite a bit of heft. It gives it a good amount of strength, which you're going to see in the demonstration of what I do with this later on. Let's see how heavy this knife is. 160 grams. Ah, you'd be surprised, wouldn't you? Yeah. I thought this knife was going to weigh more than that. That is 5.6 ounces. 5.6 ounces is a reasonable carry with this knife. The whole system, the knife together with the sheath, is going to come in at 7.9 ounces. So the sheath has, a good 2.3 ounces of weight to it. What is this sheath? Well, it's ballistic nylon. Got the name stitched on here. It's got an opening for, it'll fit into a large belt if you want to put it on that way. And that's pretty much the only way to carry it. It's put together with these steel, whatever the name is for those things. And inside, if I can get some light in there, probably can't get the light to show properly. You can just barely see it right there. There's a bit of a liner inside the inside the pouch, so that you won't cut the pouch itself. It's a plastic liner. So when you put the knife in and out, as long as you put it inside that liner, it's not going to cut anything, and the hook and loop will hold it in place, but not very well. This knife will slide down. If you don't have it perfect, it's going to slide right down to there. If it goes upside down, very loose. The sheath gets a fail in my estimation. So without spending more money, well, maybe just a little bit more money, they could have done quite a bit better with the pouch. It works. I'm not going to do a lot of running around with this, but if I'm just going camping, hanging out in one area all day, the pouch is okay just to have it laying on the side with your knife. That's fine. The handle scales have this scalloping all over the place, which helps give it a bit of a texture for better grip. There's no real hot spots on it. When I used it and did my tests, you'll see I had my hands on it quite a bit. It feels comfortable to me in either the right or left hand. No problem at all. And this point here that it comes to on the end is great for crushing things. Let's get the camera to focus again. Oof, bouncing my camera around. So it's great for crushing things, or to create a pressure point. It doesn't come to a sharp point, so it's not going to cut into things. But it just is there. Nice lanyard hole as well with that function. That can function as a lanyard hole as well. You've got Torx heads, screw heads, so that you can take this apart. Wait a minute, let me double check. Those are Allen heads, not Torx. So now let's go outside and do some of our outdoor testing, and we'll see what kind of results we get when we're playing in the elements and doing some bushcrafting, some wood work with wood with this knife. It's a small knife, so I'm not expecting it to do an awful lot, but let's see if we can baton a little bit with it. All right. Yeah, not bad. So that's pretty good. I did get myself a nice little blood blister there, didn't I? Oh well. What you do for videos. Looks like it came out unscathed. Feels sharp all the way along. And let's see how it makes feathers. That recurve really grabs in well. Let's try it with the other hand. You know, that's not bad. How's this edge look? Feels really sharp. I don't see any damage on it. Pretty good. And now let's try to strike a ferro rod with the BBKULE. No problem to start a fire. No problem to start a fire with that. That strikes very well. Well, let's try that again. I do have to say that after striking the ferro rod, I don't know if there's just grime buildup here, but the spine feels a little rough. You know, I'll have to check and see if the metal on the spine here is too soft. You know, when we were doing the batoning and stuff, this edge here with the recurve, there's no damage at all. So I'd be surprised if the heat treat is quite a bit different between the spine and there on this price of a knife. Okay, we're inside. How does this knife cut things other than wood? Well, let's try our belt test. This is a section of belt 1.5 inches thicker than a seat belt. And I've been testing a lot of knives with this type of test, and let's see how well it does. Oh, that took a bit of work. So a lot of my folding knives have done better than this knife did on that test, but I did get through in one shot. How does it cut wire? I'm sure it'll cut wire, no problem at all. That's a little bit easier to zip through. Let's double it up and do two layers of wire. Just get it on there first. I want to get past that part of the knife here. And let's see how this does. Not too bad. That works as well. It feels like that it's sharp around here. There's a bit of a burr. If I do the nick test on my nails, it holds. It comes and grabs on. So it's got some sharpness there, but the edge just doesn't really want to cut super well. I'm just looking along the edge here, and you know, I don't really see any nicks, any chips or anything like that. Still looks like it's in good condition. Let's see how it cuts paracord. Okay, that kind of cuts not a problem. And it should be able to cut paracord this way, no problem as well. Yeah, that's, like I said, it's not a problem at all to slice through. It's not a problem at all to slice through paracord. It just goes like nobody's business. I suspect different spots on this edge have different degrees of sharpness. Every knife does. But even in the factory, it takes some skill for the sharpener to sharpen the recurve. So there you go. So what do you think of this knife? I like how heavy this knife is. I didn't do any chopping tests with it, but I'm sure I could put a nice thicker lanyard on there and then grab it on the end of the knife with a handle with 2 fingers and grab the lanyard, and with the big belly here, that's a little more weight there, not much, but it could do a little bit of chopping. Just light work. This is not a heavy-duty knife. This is an introductory level bushcrafter's knife. And For the price, it's worth it. 15 bucks US gets it delivered to your house. Certainly it'll take a few weeks, but $15 for this, I call that a buy. Unless you are a guy who's a regular bushcrafter going out in the woods very regularly, you're going to want something better for sure. I'm not that naive. But for somebody who might go out into the woods once a year or once every few years, yeah, this is a good introductory knife. If you can afford a more expensive knife, a better knife, go for it. But if you're an introductory level kind of guy, this is a good choice to make. Thank you for hitting like under the video and sharing it with your friends. Thanks for being a subscriber. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider it. But no matter what you do, always remember, please cut towards your chum and not your thumb. Bye now.